Good morning everyone. I'm actually back at the Doc 9 office in London today for the first time since lockdown began, and I have to say it feels a bit strange to be in an empty office, but it's good to be back here nonetheless. And walking in today, you can see the city is really gearing up and getting ready for increased numbers with social distancing measures in place. So I thought, instead of writing up some thoughts on a LinkedIn post like I normally would, I'd do something a bit different. I'd record a quick video about Doc 9's plans for reopening our office. So firstly, I think for everyone it's been an eventful couple of months to say the least, and much like every business we had to adapt very quickly to having the whole team working from home. And from an operational and technical point of view, we were quite lucky in the sense that we were pretty much already set up for this already, given that we're a digital agency, and by and large we were able to continue business as usual. And I want to do a quick shout out to our team, who I think really stepped up and helped our clients deliver some pretty rapid projects that were required, especially in the early weeks of lockdown. These included things like self-service payment holiday request processes, changes to product sets, portals, etc. And it was an incredibly busy time. And as the days became weeks, like a lot of people, I started to question the long-term role of the office. We'd now transformed almost instantly into becoming a remote business, something I never thought we'd be. So how could we justify the expense of an office and the overhead in future? Especially not in a prime location like where we are right now, on Leadenhall Street in the city of London. In a similar vein, I saw lots of articles a few months back predicting the death of offices. A consensus seemed to be emerging that we'd largely ditch our centrally located offices, that suburbs and cities would empty, and everyone would go off and live in the Outer Hebrides, work remotely, and live happily ever after. Well, one big lesson I've learned getting to the ripe old age of 35, about to be 36, is that when there's a pretty rapid change in consensus, it's often a good idea to take a step back and question, is this a knee-jerk reaction or is a more fundamental shift happening? Certainly, as someone with 3 young children at home, including at the beginning of this lockdown, a teething 6-month-old baby, I'll be honest, it's actually been quite difficult at times. The plus sides of working from home are well documented, no commute, etc. And I've had some amazing moments with our youngest son, who's now 10 months old, that I just wouldn't have been present for had lockdown not occurred. But combining work and home life within the same space every day, especially during a pretty intense few months running an agency, has had its challenges, particularly when trying to support homeschooling efforts for our 2 other children. Those that know me well may be aware I often used to bemoan my 4-hour round trip to the office every day, but actually, now in hindsight, I've come to realise that those 4 hours were really precious thinking time, when I often come up with some of my more creative ideas, and even perhaps more importantly, it acted almost as a decompression zone between work and family life, and without it, work, evenings, weekends, sometimes started to blur into one. And from a productivity point of view, particularly when it comes to discovery and ideation workshops, which in fairness we've adapted to remote working and delivered, to be fair, some really good results, I still think nothing beats the collaborative energy and natural osmosis that happens when people are in the same room. So the death of the office has been predicted before, and if we're honest, the technology to enable this has been around that could work for most businesses for a few years now. But you know what? We're social beings at our core, and in a creative industry like ours, I'm more convinced than ever that a central hub of an office will continue to be just as important in future, and having this space will enable us to facilitate a level of creative collaboration that remote-only businesses just can't. So, starting with those team members that have been eager to get back into the office and have requested the option to come back in, we'll be opening up back again from the middle of July. This will of course be in accordance with social distance guidance, which we're setting up for now, and thankfully last year we moved into a bigger office where there's ample space to safely accommodate the admittedly smaller numbers looking to come back in immediately. And of course we also take on board the positive lessons from this experience as well. We've really proven that remote working can work very effectively, and that we really don't need everyone in the office 9 to 5 every day. So, like many companies, we're thinking about longer term flexible arrangements to accommodate those that want to continue an element of working from home moving forward, so we can all get the best of both worlds. So, that's where we are at Doc 9. I'll be really interested to hear your views, whether you're itching to get back into the office or would happily never set foot in one again, let me know in the comments below.